well as we would have liked. Keep in mind too that a lot of this stuff is not that there's not that much wrong. There aren't that many areas to kind of go over. There's probably 5 or 6 different types of questions that we didn't do that well on, and they're pretty simple to figure out. They just kind of take some doing. So the big one, I didn't get very low percentages on these, but a lot of people got, like, especially if there was a free response associated with them, a lot of people got these, got partial credit on these or didn't quite work it out. So variable scope, like a lot of this, if I run this, what's going to happen is I'm not going to get an output because perimeter's out of scope here, right? You can't access this variable perimeter from here. So if I give you this and it says what's the output, you're going to select nothing. The other thing is if you get a free response question, you put perimeter in there, I'm going to be inclined to kind of give you a 0. There's nothing really, that's the only part of the question. So I can't really give you any credit for that because you called something, the one thing that you did right in the thing is out of scope. Yes. So there's that there as well. It'll actually work. It just won't skip a line. But so that's also one. But the other thing is sometimes it'll give you like a specified output, right? So you'd want to percent like 0.2f or something like that, and then the output would be you'd call surface, and then you put in L and W, and then we run that. What I do? Oh yeah. There. What I do? Double. So there's a lot of wrong things with that one. Gee. So let's just go return. All right. Okay. So the other thing this is the one that I really we seem to really have a hard time with is some of these had output where I wanted you to put like I wanted you to have the output the surface. Let's see, surface area of the cube is, and then it would be like whatever the let's just do, oh, it's 2 and 4, so let's just say if it was 8, right? I wanted just an 8 right there with no decimals, and if this was going to return a decimal, you can see that turns 48 with 2 decimal places. What I was looking for you to do here is either 0.0f, right, meaning 0 decimal places. What do I do? I guess the 0 didn't show up. And it goes 48, or you can always cast to int. So you could say %d right here, and then cast this to int. And that works out well. That works out as well. Almost everybody that got one of these questions that had to do with casting and from double or from something that's going to return a double like this, to an int, almost everybody got those wrong. I got about a 3% on these. So make sure you're looking out for that. That's pretty much it for variable scope. Sometimes I'll ask you to print something up here. So if this is done perfectly, right, and then I don't have this, and I say, hey, enter the missing code here, right? Some people were saying system out, and they were actually printing the output or even doing the equation in here. you got to remember, you got to look at the entire thing and know, hey, this is going to return, or this is going to print out what I want. This is going to return the information that I want here, right? Some of you guys got points off on free response questions. Another thing I'll take points off is here, if you take L and W, even if you got the int part right, and then you said like L times W, like you actually did the equation. If you do the equation in here and it's already set up in a method, that's not positive. That's not gonna work out well for you. So keep an eye on that. Does anybody have questions on any of those? Yo.
What variations are there in variables? For example, if you take the VMI program, and if you're entering weighting flows, and you're expecting a double thing, and you multiply by 7 or 3, where the program doesn't show an error, right? Because you're multiplying by an 8, right? So how's like a variable scope?
So we'll cover that. That's kind of part of like the formatting part of it. And I'll cover that a little bit more. This is more of a scope question for the most part. So basically, you need to know how all parts of this work, okay? So you're going to have to know, like, this returns the value that I'm looking for. So if I call it here, I'm going to need to return the output from this and format that or print that out. If I'm up here, I'm going to know that if I give this method the right stuff, I can just call the method from here. I don't have to write a new print statement or a new equation. If you do the whole thing over, I mean, just for knowing you how to do it, I'll probably give you 1 or 2 points if it's a free response question. But if you want to get like the full 5, you got to know the question is on the scope. So if you give me information that doesn't reflect that you know the scope of everything, it's really hard to give you more than 1 or 2 points. Questions on that one?